Hey everyone, I'm Pastor Manny and this is Looking Up. It's a ministry here at English Oaks Seventh-day Adventist Church, and Sunday through Friday, Pastor Bob and I share an encouraging thought for the day. I've actually been enjoying, I do enjoy, and I especially I've been enjoying what we've been talking about the past couple of days, and just John chapter 15, and abiding in the vine and the branches, the Father as the gardener, and Jesus as the vine, and us as the branches. And there's so many lessons in here that we can learn from these couple of verses if we really spend time in it. And so and especially now I can imagine there's so much there's so much unease going on, and wanting to things to go back to normal, right? You're getting kind of burnt out with Zoom meetings. It's you're having that, you're missing that connection with people face to face. And so so I really like this because it really gives us an example of what we can do during this time, and that's just remain connected to Jesus. And just continuing on of what we were talking about, the past couple of days we've just been talking about how there's a relationship going on with the Father and Jesus, and then like us, right? And then so Jesus gives this good example of bearing fruit and being rooted and grounded in Him. As the vine, as Jesus is the vine, the branches cannot bear fruit unless they are connected to the vine, right? And sometimes when fruit doesn't bear fruit, it gets cut off, right? And so and it gets cut off because you don't want the rotten fruit to infect the good fruit, right? You don't want the rotten fruit to keep the good fruit from bearing more fruit. And so just continuing on in verse 5, Jesus says, I am the vine and you are the branches. And what I love about this is that Jesus is giving us like a little formula here, right? He says, stay connected to me and bear fruit, or be a branch, right? And as branches connected to Jesus, they bear fruit. And so and it says, if you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit, right? It's not you may bear some fruit. It's a possibility, like 50% chance you might bear fruit. No, he says you will bear fruit, right? That's a promise. It's a statement that Jesus is saying. He's like, look, if you remain in me, you are going to bear some fruit, all right? And so, and then I love what he says this, you will bear much fruit. And he says, apart from me, you can do nothing. Now, I just want to let that sink in. Let that sink in for us, into our hearts, into our minds. This really hits me because a lot of times, especially being like a pastor, we can at times depend upon ourselves to do things. We could depend upon our gifts, right? Or you could be charismatic. You could depend upon that. And what I love about this is that, hey, like, you can do all the things you all want on your own, but apart from me, none of that stuff is going to matter. And sometimes when we do these things, and there might be results sometimes, right? But to bear much fruit, it truly comes from remaining in Jesus. And this is something that I need to remind myself. And this is what I love about this scripture, is that God is really telling me, hey, Manny, like, you can't, a lot of the stuff that you are doing right now, it's not going to bear true fruit. It's not going to bear much fruit unless you're doing it in me, unless you're remaining in me. And that goes for all of us as believers, as followers of Jesus. We need to really ask ourselves, am I remaining in God? And is the fruit that I'm bearing, is it because is it because I'm trying to do things on my own, or is it because I'm truly abiding in Jesus? I'm truly remaining in Jesus, right? And so my hope and prayer for us is that we are not trying to do things on our own power, in our own might. So a lot of times when we do things in ourselves, a lot of times ourselves can get in the way of what God truly wants to do. So, and then just two things, again, like stay connected to Jesus and bear fruit. And what bearing fruit, a lot of times we think of it as bearing fruit, people, like bringing people to Jesus, right? But when we see in Galatians that bearing fruit means having a different character, right? Having the character of Jesus: love, patience, kindness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no law. And just having those fruit in you will actually help you to bear fruit in other people too. Will actually help us to reflect the love and the character of Jesus daily. So that's something I just want to share with us today. I hope this really encourages us. Happy Friday, happy preparation day, and stay connected to the vine, and you will bear much fruit. And just remember that apart from Jesus, we can do nothing. All right, God bless. Take care, everyone. Have a blessed weekend.